Hey guys, I just wanted to do a short clip regarding wanting to stay in your home country versus always seeing another country as the grass is always greener. The thing is that a lot of us who grew up as TCKs do tend to gravitate to foreign countries other than our passport country. For instance, I had a romantic view of Canada. I did have several friends there, but it was also just not the United States. The same thing with England. A lot of us have that. But I recently came across a friend of a friend who actually their passport country was England, and they have always seen the United States as the promised land, kind of. And I just wanted to say this while I was thinking about it. Actually, the grass is not necessarily greener here or there. It is easier to live. If you struggle with the issues that a TCK will, then you are drawn to move overseas, to move to a foreign country, to some place that is not the country that you are expected to identify with, and the culture that you're expected to identify with. Because then, for instance, if someone from England came here, from the UK, then they would not necessarily be expected to operate as Americans. They would be expected to operate as members of the United Kingdom who don't really understand American customs. Therefore, they kind of get a break. And if we were to be in the United Kingdom, we would kind of get a break because we'd be Americans, you know? We wouldn't be necessarily expected to understand all the ins and outs. So, I just want to encourage you guys, if you're considering moving overseas, or if you've been constantly foreign country hopping, or maybe you're living in a foreign country right now, a foreign country is something other than your passport country. Just remember that it is easier, and I personally was tempted, and there's nothing wrong with it. But as long as you realize that regardless of where you are not really going to feel content and at peace with yourself. You're just going to be living in a country that might be slightly easier to operate in versus your passport country. If you never deal with the issues that you're going to face in your passport country, and in some cases you just continue to hate the culture in your passport country, it's not actually ever just going to work itself out. You're going to have to face it at some point. And living in a foreign country is all great, but you're going to somehow manage to escape facing the reality of the fact that you do need to stop hating your culture. It's not yours, I understand this, but you can't hate it forever. And seeing another country as a promised land is not going to solve the issue at home. So it's just important to identify this, I think, to know what your reasonings are for living in a country other than your passport country. And if you understand that and you still want to live in Timbuktu, go for it. But if you're only living in the other country because it's easier, and because you have an unrealistic view of that culture simply because they don't expect you to operate by means of that culture, but in your home country they do expect you to know. Even though it's not reasonable, they're still going to expect you to. And so that's where the turmoil comes from. So just make sure that you're facing the reality and that you're not just going to continue running away. Because if you just run away all your life, then either you'll spend your entire life running away and you'll always feel slightly discontent and never really come to terms with the issues, or it'll come back to bite you at some point anyway. So, something to think about. Love you guys.